Good morning, happy Friday, and welcome to Sit Call. The topic of performance nutrition is a hot topic in many circles right now, as it should be. And this is especially true when talking about overall performance of soldiers. U.S. Army registered dietitian Captain Brittney Nicole is with us today, and we're going to discuss this more in depth. Good morning, ma'am, and thank you for joining us.
Hi, thanks for having me.
And of course, we have our team here at Valencia Medical Recruiting Station, Sergeant First Class Michael Q.
Morning, everyone.
And myself, Staff Sergeant McMenemy. Okay, ma'am, soldiers and nutrition. I can imagine from a dietitian standpoint, this is a pretty exciting topic to dig into. How does one even begin formulating a plan for an entire army?
Yeah, so it sounds like quite a daunting task, right? We've got hundreds of thousands of soldiers, each coming from different family situations, living different lifestyles, and then going into different situations when they're in the Army as well. So it's a lot of factors that we have to think about when we're talking about nutrition. But it all comes down usually to just bringing it back to the basics. Research has shown over and over and over again, there's not that much complicated stuff when it comes to nutrition, weight control, right, which is a big issue in the United States and in the Army as well. So we just try to take it person by person, look at, past practices, look how we can be better for the future. And what we're moving toward now is definitely more of a preventive response versus a reactive response. So trying to keep our soldiers healthy and preserve their careers.
So, man, with performance as an individual, in this case, a soldier is based on overall fitness. What is Army doing to make the science a little less sciencey for the individuals?
Yeah, so you turn on the news, you read a magazine, and there's some new diet or some new pill or some new trend that's supposedly the next fix for whatever situation it is, right? So again, like I said, it isn't super, super complicated when it comes to nutrition. It's just getting folks to do it. That's usually the problem. Incorporating healthier foods, healthier habits, changing lifestyles for folks. It's a huge task, right? When you look at people have been living their life a certain way for 20, 30 years sometimes, and you're trying to change a basic habit like that. So the Army is moving more toward ground level integration of dietitians, physical therapists, to really be boots on the ground with them, see how they're training and how we can better serve them and get them to incorporate those habits.
So, ma'am, in the Army, we have the H2F. Can you talk to us more about that?
Right, absolutely. So H2F stands for Holistic Health and Fitness, and it's actually a system that the Army is integrating, where we're integrating PTs, so physical therapists, occupational therapists, dietitians, as well as psychologists and psychiatrists in some situations with the units. So either at the battalion level or at the brigade level. So having that whole team there with the soldiers, training with them, deploying with them, and then returning with them so that we're able to see the situations they're getting into, prepare them for specific environments, whether it's high altitude, low temperatures, high temperatures. Nutrition plays a huge role in their success in preparation and then in execution of those missions.
So with the H2F model, what is the role of the dietitian?
Right. So we play kind of three roles. So we work proactively, actively, and then reactively with the unit. So proactively, we look at what situation are they going to go into. Are we going on a training exercise for a month? Are we going on a deployment for a year? Or is this peacetime operations and we're preparing for that, right? Just a sustainment operation. So we look at that, what factors we're going to encounter. So are we trying to increase the strength of our soldiers? Then we work with the physical therapist and the activity trainers or the fitness trainers on getting the soldiers built up for that to be stronger. Are we looking at having them in really hot environments? So how do we prepare them for that? High altitude, same thing. So there's different factors for all these different kind of missions that we can have. So the dietitian, along with the other H2F team members, helps to train those soldiers in those situations so that we can make sure that they get through it healthy and they come home and then they're able to continue on with their careers and we're seeing less attrition.
Awesome. So when individuals think about performance nutrition, they often immediately go to sports teams and such. How does the performance nutrition apply to the Army?
Yeah, so soldiers, there's a lot of peacetime operations where we're kind of like other folks sitting at computers all day, right? Sometimes, but a lot of the Army is out there doing a lot of work all day long. That's very, very physical. So Army dietitians need to be prepared for both of those situations, right? Are we treating a patient base that's sitting in a chair for 8 to 10 hours a day, or are we treating a soldier that's in a motor pool or out in the field for 14, 18 hours a day working hard? So that's going to change how we address those soldiers and the different types of recommendations we have. So the soldier, you think of soldiers and people think of the movies and what kind of things we do there. They don't necessarily think about the peacetime operations where we're not necessarily so active. So I think we're very relatable to sports teams in that we have some off times, some off season time, we have some preseason time, and then we have our actual competitive season where we're needing to perform.
So what are the benefits of the Army for taking this approach to nutrition, specifically in regards to H2F?
Sorry, what was the question?
I'm sorry. What are the benefits for the Army for taking this approach to nutrition, specifically in regards to H2F?
Yeah, so the big thing I can say just one word: prevention, right? So we're preventing conditions from developing, whether that's a familial condition like high blood pressure, high cholesterol. We can delay those things with some nutrition intervention, some activity intervention. So we're not losing soldiers so early on in their careers. Other things dietitians can do is help with recovery from musculoskeletal injuries, from burns, amputations. Dietitians help with the team along with all those treatment plans of how are we going to get the soldiers better and then back in the fight instead of having to medically process them out and then replace them with folks, right? Diversity is great and having fresh ideas is great, but we lose a lot of that knowledge when folks move out so quickly when we're losing them to injuries or illness.
So what would be something that you would want to highlight to the folks considering a career in dietetics and Army medicine?
So I think what's so cool about being a dietitian in the Army is you get to do so many different things. On the civilian side, a dietitian will get a job and just kind of do one thing, whether it's seeing patients in a hospital or only talking to athletes and sports teams or only developing menus. But when you're an Army dietitian, you get to do all of it, sometimes in the same day. And most days you don't really know what you're going to get yourself into. It just really depends. So that's what I love about being an Army dietitian is really the diversity that it forces on you, that you get really good at all the different things dietitians can be. Because you may think you know what you want to do when you're 22, but most of us don't know what we want to do for the rest of our life when we're 22, right? So it gives you a chance to really get your feet in the water, see if you like it, see if you're good at it. The path that I've kind of taken, this is not what I thought I'd be doing back when I was in college and I chose dietetics. So I love it. I love this career and I love being in the Army.
Nice. So as far as being a dietitian, can you kind of run us through like what a normal day would look like for you?
Oh my gosh. So it really depends on where you are and what you're doing. So right now I've got a kind of an administrative job working for the SP Corps office. So the SP Corps is the specialist corps. It's made up of all of a couple of specialist professions. So we've got the dietitians, we've got physician's assistants, physical therapists, and occupational therapists. So I help with the communication, coordination, and recognition of those SP Corps officers. That's my current job. It's a 1-year assignment. I'm getting to learn a lot from a lot of the senior leaders. Before this, I was in a command for 2 years. So I was a commander for an AIT unit at Fort Sam Houston. So I wasn't a dietitian for 2 years then, and I'm not a dietitian right now, right? So that's part of the diversity I'm talking about where, I'm not just seeing patients every day. I'm getting to do a lot of different stuff and really build up my toolkit and acquire some new skills. Before that, I worked in food service. So I did some management of civilians, some menu planning, some marketing, menu design, helping to trick people eat healthy, those kinds of things. And I've also just done basic patient care, whether that be outpatient clinic or inpatient clinic. So gosh, I wish I could tell you what a 9 to 5 is like, but every day is different. Every year is different for me. It's been really exciting.
Keeps you on your toes.
Definitely.
What is your favorite thing about your job? I know you just highlighted a whole bunch of stuff that you've done. What is your favorite thing about your job?
Gosh, I get to work with so many people that I would have never gotten to work with if I had just, done a dietitian job where I grew up. I get to work with, working with NCOs has been incredible, getting their knowledge, their experience, just learning from them. I feel like we all kind of spread our MOSs to each other when we're working together. So you really develop into a more broad thinker, and it makes you way smarter to work with people, learn from their experiences, try to help prevent mistakes. People try to help you not take the same missteps that they did, or help guide you in a good direction for yourself and for your career. So I love that about it. I love working with different folks from different walks of life and different backgrounds, and really just trying to soak up their knowledge. And then, share my tidbits too. There's been a lot of bad things that I've experienced that I want to help people prevent making the same mistakes or having the same issues. So that's really been gratifying.
So maybe talk about, guiding people, everything else. And as a nutritionist, you're also a commissioned officer in the Army. So can you tell our listeners a little bit about what leadership opportunities there are for nutritionists like yourself in the Army?
Right. Yeah. So being an Army dietitian, I always try to remind the young officers, you're a soldier first, then you're an officer, then you're a dietitian. That's a part of the job. So, we're all just soldiers first. So we're doing what the Army needs us to do, what the country needs us to do, absolutely first. And then you're an officer. So from the first day you put on that uniform, whether or not you've learned who to salute and who salutes you, you're still an officer, and there's still respect that you're expected to understand how the system works, and you got to figure it out really quick. And you have to be a mentor to folks. So really living and breathing everything that you're taught and everything that you're saying. You walk the walk and talk the walk and talk the talk, or whatever it is, right? So yeah, it's definitely a mindset shift from being on your own and living in your little bubble to now you're a mentor and an officer and a leader. That kind of happens overnight, right, when you get commissioned. So, and for NCOs as well, I mean, you guys are leading and training soldiers every day, so really cool. And then dietitian, right, that's just the job that I'm trained to do for the Army if they want me to. Otherwise, I'm happy to do the first two, right, for them. So I've gotten to do a lot of fun soldier stuff too. I've gone to air assault school and gotten to go to some great trainings and some great operations. So been a lot of fun.
Awesome. So ma'am, not everyone will meet, or I guess fit a mold in your field, I guess. So some are in undergrad studies, some are in their internships, some are working as dietitians. What opportunities do we offer to individuals?
Yeah, so we've got some great opportunities because the Army wants to take in a lot of these professions that exist outside. So the Army has about 150 dietitians right now, but people are constantly, we're all getting older, right? So folks are moving on, retiring. We need to replace those folks. And we're actually increasing our numbers from 150. I don't know what the exact number is that we're going up to, but we have to increase as we put those dietitians at the battalion level. We're going to have a lot more. So we constantly are needing folks. So they're doing a lot of kind of retention incentives and incentives to bring people on and keep them on. So they offer, different schooling so you can get graduate degrees within the Army. They have training with industry. So we've had some dietitians go and actually work at the Olympic Training Center. Get to have experiences like that. And then like the job that I'm doing now, where I'm getting to work under a lot of the senior leaders and just learn from them and soak up that knowledge. There are so many opportunities in schools and courses and things you can do within the Army. The cost is a really helpful piece of it, right? Free of cost, a lot of it. As a dietitian, especially, you fork out thousands of dollars for a graduate degree and for an internship. And I paid $0 for all those things. I actually got paid to do them. So that's been great. I came in thinking I was only going to do the obligation and take my degree and walk away, but I couldn't. I love the Army so much and everything I've learned, and just trying to soak up everything that I can from the experience, and haven't paid a dime.
That's the best part.
It is. It's great.
So ma'am, is there anything else you would want to point out or highlight for our viewers?
Oh gosh. Yeah, I think being open-minded is a huge part of learning and growth and getting older and maturing and developing as a leader and a professional. A lot of us maybe started off as type A personality, or, control, I was gonna say control freaks, but yeah. People that had everything planned out and thought what we knew we were gonna do. And life sometimes has a way of shifting those goals, right? COVID-19 being one of them, of wow, how different this year is than any of us thought it would be. But luckily, I think those of us that have been in the Army are used to that. We're used to a life of of transition and unpredictability, and it's made us stronger. And definitely, we bounce back much quicker. We're much more adaptable because that's kind of our life, and that's the situations we're in. And that's going to serve us for the rest of our life, because life is going to continue to be unpredictable. That doesn't change no matter what you do. So I think the skills and just the experience that we get in the Army is so beneficial.
Definitely, ma'am. We definitely want to thank you, ma'am, for taking your time out of your busy schedule to visit with us today.
Of course. Thank you guys so much for having me.
So, and with that, this wraps up another episode. Thank you to our viewers for tuning in with us live. As always, we welcome your questions. You can comment below or on any of our other social media platforms. We hope everyone has a happy, healthy, and safe weekend. And we look forward to seeing you again next Friday at 10 a.m. here on Sit Call. Bye, everyone.
Bye.